Hello and welcome back to another video, and today I have the $100 Salamangreat budget deck profile for you guys because Salamangreat is a really sick deck, and of course it is budget, but with all of the reprints recently, this deck has been very budgetable to make. This list has been added up and it is just $100 for all of these cards that you see in front of you today. Phantasmes are like $4 now with the reprint, so yeah, and 100 Canadian dollars too, not even USD, Canadian. So that's even cheaper for all of you guys who are in America or London or any of that stuff. It's even cheaper for you guys. So yeah, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I have the Salamangreat Master with me over here. I have Matteo with us today, and he's going to be guiding us throughout the deck profile. Let's do this, and let's go. Matteo, you can take it from here.
So, with this budget salad list, we'll be able to accommodate players with the budget around $100 that want to get into competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! To start with this list, we are starting with basically the best card in Salamangreat Gazelle. Obviously limited to one, super cheap, fits in this deck perfectly. Next, we're running our standard Cybers combo, double Lady Debug and double Flame Buffalo. These are your consistency cards, help you power through the deck. If you don't have these, your deck basically feels a little bit lackluster. Next we have our Salamangreat package, which with our main stuff is double spinny. This is just our consistency, helps us make boards, helps us get past boards, and also baits in the gate sometimes. Double Foxy. Foxy is really strong. It's macro removal and also a free monster. And also on top of that gives you a free discard. So next after that we got double Jack Jaguar. Jack Jaguar is a really solid choice in this format to have two. We really need it, even though we're not running desires, really helpful to have. Then we have Foul. Foul you're not really running in more expensive variants because you don't have space, but since we do have space, the one Foul actually is nice in case we don't open up Xseed. It actually helps us make our rank 4s, just super crucial to this deck since we don't have access code. Then we have our Salamangreat Falco. Falco is really, really strong in the fact that you can bounce your stuff back to your hand and also start recruiting some of your roars and rages back to your field. We also have triple parallel exceed, really self-explanatory, helps you make your rank 4s, and it's also a super great extender going second. That's it for a Cybers / Salamangreat engine. Let's get on to the hand traps. With the hand traps, we're running a really standard package, but a package that really helps us win boards against Adamantipator, especially now that they're weaker with Block Dragon, Jet Synchron, and O-Lion hit. This is going to help us tear through their boards. So we got triple Ash, which is not the greatest pick in the format, but since it's Sal, you need to run 3. Triple Veiler, this is obviously the budget imperm, but even in the expensive builds, you're still running 3 copies of this card just because of how strong it is. It really just helps you break boards by absolutely stopping them from getting created. Easy counter to Link Cross and Needle Fiber. We're running double Ogre. Ogre is really good against a Numeron combo. Numeron combo isn't too strong right now, but it is still a threat. Ghost Ogre is also not the weakest against Needle Fiber, and since now that Jet is gone, it's going to be a lot harder for them to play through it. Lastly, we're going to have 2 Phantasme. Phantasme is really controversial in most decks, but in Salad, it's just basically the best hand trap as it gives you protection and it cycles through your deck. So really, it's a staple, and it also gives you back a free fire on turn 2 with the Sunlight Wolf. So it's really, really solid. That's done with the monsters. Really solid and really consistent. Let's move on to the spells. We're running double Will. Will is one of those cards really good, but at 3 it just doesn't seem right, and at 1 it just seems like it's not enough. 2 seem to be the sweet spot for me. Mana is also searchable by Gazelle if you ever need it, so I don't think 3 is really the choice, as it's not really necessary because it's not really helping you build the biggest boards. It's just there to help you create certain like OTKs with your update jammer, transcode, just a little bit of pressure. One sanctuary, obviously the break of the deck, but you need to run it just because it helps you play the deck. Um, and also, it's really solid. Its second effect never really comes up, but what it does, it actually is a little bit cheeky. Next, we are running Triple Signet Mining. To the budget players, this is such a great card as it got reprinted finally again, and it's hovering around $4 or $5, and it's super accessible for people that previously didn't have access to it. And also same with Phantasme actually, both reprinted as super rares in the Megatins, and will give you guys access to pick them up super cheap. Lastly, for the spells, the best spell in the deck is Salamangreat Circle. Gives you ultimate pressure, ultimate protection, everything in one card. It's the perfect card. Insane. That's it for the spells. Again, super budget spell lineup. And lastly, we got the traps. So our trap lineup is basically what we used to run before Access Code. So double roar, double rage. Love this lineup. Super, super strong. But this just allows you to play super control, and it gives you opportunity to actually open up these cards. Um, then we're running for the last trap in the deck, Solemn Strike. This used to be a pick when Mirage Thalia was around, but ever since Access Codes came out, no one's been really testing with them. But in my opinion, this is the most solid trap to run that is not a salad trap. Um, it's a counter trap, so spell speed 3, fantastic. And it gets around cards like Dragoon, it gets around cards like Borload Savage Dragon. It's just really strong to have in your deck, to have opportunity to have a free special summon negate in an unnegatable fashion. Unless they have Judgment or something like in that nature, of course. But yeah, Solemn Strike is super, super underrated in this deck. Again, in my access code list, I wouldn't run it because that deck's more focused on spamming access code, whereas this list is more focused on controlling your opponent to play into your traps and into your hand traps, and then bursting them with a quick OTK. This deck has featured cards just to break boards. And also, Solemn Strikes is super, super budget due to the Machina reprint in the Machina structure deck. Yeah, that's it for the main deck. The main deck is actually relatively cheap. The only really cards you have to worry about in price right now are Ash Blossoms. They're hovering over $10 USD, which is a little bit of an issue, but overall, it's worth it in this deck. And also, this deck is super safe from banless. It's one of the most fair decks, and it's really nice to have a deck that you're certain that you can take to the next event and know it's not going to get hit.
Exactly.
Let's get on to the extra deck. So obviously we're running triple Balinks. There was a time where I was running 2 Balinks, but that was also the time where Mirage Thalia was at 3 and we were able to play the deck. But yeah, now that everything is limited and banned, you need to have this card at 3. It is so important just to have a free card on the field.
It's completely
and
mandatory.
Search is your most important card for your combos, which is this field spell, obviously. We got double Helio. I would not like to run this card. Like, I wish I could cut it just because it always feels lackluster, but when it comes up, it wins you games. So I just need to play it because of back row matchups. This card is like the most free card ever. Also, the attack boost or reduction does come up sometimes. We are hopping into the best card in the deck, which is Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf. This card literally made the deck, and is why this deck is so consistent because it keeps funneling back cards from your graveyard. So every single time you have opportunity to send a Sal to the graveyard, it's usually worth it because you can recruit it with this card. such a broken, busted card.
Such a good card.
Now we're going on to our OTK engine, which is our update jammer and transcode talker. Super, super nice card.
Insane combo.
Really allows us to output damage into the deck, which is really, really nice, actually. Then we're going into our other cards in this deck. So we got Borreload and Hita. Borreload can be changed with Avermax. Avermax is another option to out Dragoon, just because of its ability to protect all your monsters, and then also after it would be negated by Dragoon by its gain attack effect, it could just shuffle it away, which is really, really nice. But I opted to go Borlo just because it's a little bit cheaper, a little bit more budget friendly. But if you have access to an Avermax, I do 100% recommend swapping Borlo for Avermax.
Exactly.
Then Hita's still pretty strong just because people are still running Ash Blossom and Nightmare Phoenix. They're both still staples, and that gives us a reason to still run Hita. Hita can be swapped for Link Revo, but I just think Hita's a little bit stronger as it gives you access to a fire.
Absolutely
Link
right.
Other than Silent Wolf, that can facilitate more combos.
Exactly.
Lastly, to our most important cards in the deck, actually, just due to their sheer pressure. You got Abyss Dweller, Baguska, and Tornado Dragon.
So good.
If we're coming up into graveyard matchup, obviously we're summoning Abyss Dweller. This will shut them out, absolutely help us destroy the game. If we're going into a matchup against Adamancipator or Eldlik, any of those decks, this card is such a busted card. It gives you access to chain, like, missed time cards, like for example Armageddon Knight or Gazelle. If they're normal summoned, it misses timing and it negates their effects. Super, super strong card, and it's insane. Allows you to actually run the rank 4 engine, and it makes you run it just because of this card. It's really strong.
So good.
Lastly, we got Tornado Dragon. If you're ever running into a matchup, this is also really good against Eldlik. But yeah, into the Eldlik matchup, into the Altergeist matchup, even into the Salad matchup, they do put some back row on. This is a really nice card to have, and it's a utility pick.
All three are amazing.
You don't summon as much, but if you need to, it comes up, and it comes up super well.
Exactly.
That's it for the extra deck. Let's go into the side deck. So we are running triple copies of Cosmic Cyclone just because of Eldlik. They are weaker because of Jet Ban, but it doesn't matter because they still will be here, and Cosmic will be there to shut them down. Next, we got Summon Limit. Summon Limit is super, super strong against 99% of the decks in the format.
I hate this card.
It doesn't allow them to play. And also, you're going to be using this while your board is already established. And after your board is established, if you guys didn't know, you guys don't summon more than 2 times unless you're trying to OTK. Even so, you still summon 3 times. So that's a little bit of an unfortunate event, but all you have to do to get rid of it to OTK is pop it with Foxy, and now you have access to your OTK for the game.
Exactly.
Next, running triple Goza match. This card's really phenomenal in the deck. After you have your board set up, your board doesn't end on anything really that's gonna threaten this unless you end on one of your 3 rank 4s. But even if you do that, it's fine.
Such a good card still.
I would rather have a lockdown than a Baguska, because the lockdown in this deck is really good. Locking people into one type, like especially if they make Needle Fiber, they can't do anything. It's just such a strong card.
And you are running a lot of wins.
Next, we have Royal Decree. Since Eldlik is our hardest matchup, this is the best side deck card, or at least one of the best. It really helps win the matchup.
You don't side these together.
And really shuts them down a lot. It really limits the amount of play they can do. Mm-hmm. And then we also got, for the last card in the deck, Token Collector. This card I've been testing with and has been the most solid pick you can possibly have in your extra or your side deck. It has won me so many games due to the fact that you can just blow up their tokens get a free extender yourself,
because of
and
link
also
cross.
with that, block them from making more tokens. It's just such a free card, and it's also, let me give you a little shout, really great in Dino because you can use this card on your own token you summon and then prevent them from summoning tokens,
It's
which is
insane.
insane, super busted
Because
card.
the link cross is a
Token
card.
Collector is one of the strongest side deck cards in this format, and it's really underused. In this deck, I would have loved to have Dark Ruler no more, but we actually don't really need it just because of our sheer trap power. We really set up an actual negate of this deck, having the power to play through boards and the power to actually break boards. So,
Exactly.
yeah, Token Collector is one of my favorite cards in the game right now, and I am super happy with the performance of this card.
Yep.
Now let's go into some swap-ins you can mix around if you have the budget. So if you guys do have imperms, this kind of switches off the fact of being a budget list, but you can easily swap it in for your triple solemn strikes. Other than that note, I do thank you for watching this video. This deck is just another option for you guys to take a look at and hopefully build, take to your locals, remote duel with it, have fun with it.
Exactly.
But otherwise, have fun with the deck and peace.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. That was Matteo, and yeah, he gave us his deck. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a bit longer, but there are some really well-made points over here. And of course, I will catch you guys in the next video. All right, peace.